and welcome to the Storytime with Billy channel. Don't forget to subscribe for all the latest videos and content. I'm feeling pretty excited today, everybody. Do you know why? Because it's almost time for Christmas! Woohoo! Christmas is my favourite time of the year, and I thought today on Storytime with Billy we would try something a little bit different. We're going to do some making and crafting. Would you like to help me? Brilliant! Drum roll, please. Today, we're going to have a go at making our very own Christmas snowflake, like this, in 3D. Do you think you could try and make a Christmas snowflake like this? Brilliant! I'm going to be here to help you every step of the way. But I wonder, what will we need to make our Christmas snowflake? Check it out! Paper ×8, some scissors and some glue. So now hopefully you have all the things you need to make your Christmas snowflakes. Are you ready? Good! Then let's do it! If you need to pause at any time, you can just rewind the video back and repeat the steps. I'll try and go as slowly as possible to make sure you get it all in, because it can be a little bit complicated. So we're going to start by cutting our paper, which should be in a rectangle shape, into squares. I'll show you this step once, and the next time you can rewind back if you need to know how to do it again. The easiest way to turn your rectangle paper into a square is to take the top corner and fold it over so the edges line up. I'm going to do mine as neatly as possible. That's it. Oh, make sure you really concentrate. So now your paper should look like this, with one corner folded into the other. You can see now you've got a rectangle at the bottom. That can be trimmed off and be either recycled or used for something else. So we're going to trim that paper off there. Get rid of that rectangle. Fantastic. So we'll get rid of that rectangular paper, and you should now be left with a triangle. And if you open it up, fingers crossed, I hope so, you'll have a square. Brilliant. So fold that back together. Now you need to fold it in half again. Take one of the corners, top or bottom. I'm going to take the bottom corner, and you'll see why in just a moment. And fold it up to the top, so they match up, lining up neatly, and crease those in together as neatly as I can. I'll use the table to help me rest on. Brilliant. So now you should have another triangle like that. Can you see the flaps that are at the top? Ooh, like two bunny ears. Flip that over so the flaps are at the bottom, like that. Now, this is where things get a little bit more complicated, so watch carefully. You now need to cut 4 lines into the paper from the bottom where the flaps are, right up to the nose of the paper. If you're not sure where these lines should be, you can always use a pencil and a ruler to do that. The main thing to remember is that the gaps between each cut should be about the same length, and they shouldn't go too high, just above where the nose of the paper is. So I'm going to cut into my paper now. Watch closely. You'll start at the bottom. This first cut will be the longest cut. The first cut is the deepest. So I'm going to cut up there, just above where the nose is, and stop. There's my first cut, and I need to do 3 more now, keeping about the same distance between each cut. But they're always cutting up to the same place. Can you see? And 1 more cut, so that's number 3. And 1 more will make 4. Brilliant. So you now should cut 4 times and have 5 dangly bits. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, make sure you have those dangly bits at the bottom, because fingers crossed, if we open up our snowflake now, brilliant, that has worked out. Can you see? Excellent. So now you need to turn it that way, so it's on its side, like that. Can you see? Alright, try and open those up a bit. This is where things continue to get complicated, but when it's finished, your snowflake will look amazing. So, you're going to take the middle parts that you cut out there. Can you see? You're going to poke them out there. So you've got the middle bits there, and you're going to put a bit of glue on the first middle part. You're going to take a little bit of glue, not too much glue though. But put a bit of glue on the first middle part, and I'm going to stick those 2 bits together. Okay. I'm going to glue those. I've got to really concentrate. So now your snowflake should look something like that. Can you see? We've glued the middle parts together. Now you're going to turn your snowflake over onto the other side and glue the next two parts together. And you're going to keep doing this until all of the parts of the snowflake are glued together. So, glue the middle part, flip it over, and then glue the next bit. This is why it's important to make sure your cuts are as level as possible so they've got enough room to stretch over and stick together. And enough glue to stick on so they won't fall apart later on. So we'll glue those together, point to point. That's that part there, so we've had the middle part and the next part. And then you're going to flip it over and do number 3. There are 5 of these to do in total. Now of course you can add more cuts to your snowflake, but that can make it a little bit more difficult to put together. So it's best to just stick to the 4 cuts when you're starting out. But who knows, if you want to challenge yourself, then by all means add some more in. There we go, so that's number 3. And what do we do next? We turn it over and we'll do number 4. Here we go, number 4. There we are. Number 4 there. And we're going to stick those together, lining them up together, line the points up. Number 4. You see it's starting to make its 3D shape now, you can see there. It's really pretty, isn't it? So number 4, turn it over for number 5. And we're going to stick 5 and 5 together. And then you should have there your first icicle of your snowflake. Now you're going to need to make 8 of these in total to make your snowflake. So I'm going to make another one of these icicles and then I'll show you what to do next. And now I have 2 icicles. Hopefully you have 2 and you were able to go back and watch the first video. You're going to repeat this 8 times to make 8 icicles, but now we've got 2, so I'm going to show you how we join them together. Now let me have a look and see. Which way am I going to go? I'm going to start with the 5th end of the first one, so the last you glue together. I'm going to put some glue on the back of my first icicle. On the sticking out part, there we go, a bit of glue there, and I'm going to stick a bit of glue on the other end of my second icicle, so not the same part, you're going to stick them facing in the same direction rather than facing in towards each other, so I'm going to glue that together. So 5 is going to attach to 4, there we go, I'm going to stick these together now. I'm going to press them to make sure they stay, so you can see they're both facing in the same direction, as if they're standing in a line waiting to get in for the Black Friday sales. So I've stuck those bits together. Now we need to stick these tails together as well. Those bits there, can you see? We're going to stick those together, press them down to make sure they stay. This Pritt stick can be a little bit unreliable on occasions, but it depends what sort you've got. Pritt stick I've got, this YPO stuff seems to be working just fine. So, there we are. So I've stuck those bottom bits together, so we can see that the snowflake is starting to form. Of course, you're going to need 8 to go all the way round in a circle. Once you've stuck 4 together, the next time when you stick them together at the bottom, it's a bit wobbly, isn't it? You're going to stick 4 together and then carry on going round, and then when you get to the 5th one, you'll stick that tail underneath. I'll try and film with separate bits so you can see how that works. Right, we've now got 4 and 5, so just before I carry on the time lapse, I'm just going to show you how you stick 5 onto number 4. So as before, you'll stick the 2 back parts together, still facing in the right direction though. So 5 of the last one, onto 4 of the next one. There we go. So you've got 5 attached now, so rather than sticking the bottom bit into the line, you're going to flip it over and stick it onto the bottom like that. So I add a bit of glue onto that side. So you're going to stick those together like that. Can you see? Oh, it's flying away. It's a feisty snowflake, this one. So we're going to stick it onto the bottom part so it will carry on spiralling round. Okay? So you've now got 5 there, free to go. Keep going. Ta-da! After a few times of the icicles popping apart, and you will have to hold them down to make sure they glue together, you will have made something that looks a little bit like this, a Christmas snowflake. Oh, it looks good, doesn't it? It's quite tricky, but if I can do it, you can definitely do it. And it does take a lot of work, but if you've got more people in your household, you can work together to make the icicles, to join them together. You can see a beautiful pattern on the inside. It takes a lot of perseverance, this one. And do make sure you go around really pushing in those icicles together to make sure they stick, because they can burst apart if not glued properly. Now, you might be thinking, how on earth are you going to hang it from the ceiling? Well, you can always use some string, you might want to use some ribbon. String's probably the best because it doesn't make too much of a hole. And you can choose one of the points of the icicles, pierce a hole through the top, put some string in, and you can hang it wherever you like. You can even stick it on a window if you fancy. Now, I've made a white snowflake, but if you wanted to, you can make a coloured snowflake, like this one. Here's one I made earlier. And you could use more than one colour because there's 8 pieces, so you've got an even number. So you could use pink and gold, red and green, blue and white. It's entirely up to you. Try it yourself at home. A Christmas snowflake. Thank you so much for joining me on the Storytime with Billy channel. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos including story times, phonics, singing and more. And if you think we should try making some more crafts, let me know. Thanks guys, see you soon, stay safe and have a very Merry Christmas. Ho ho ho!